Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful, wonderful, amazing day. Welcome to another great day. We have a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. Today is Thursday. Got an amazing topic that we're going to talk about. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. I'm just the fellow asking the question. So I'm not important, but I'm tell you who is important. This is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This Curtis McNeil. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, brother. How you doing? Thanks for the hearty morning welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Curtis, what's going on in your world, brother? Tell me something good.
Well, I mean, I just got, I'm ready to do this play called "If You Dirty, Take a Bath" at the Wimico Civic Center. Then that's on September 10th, and then on September 24th and 25th, I'm gonna be in Montgomery County as Dr. King. So get ready to do my TV series in October. Finale. So those are just some of the things I got going on. Trying to set up some new programs for homeless youth age 24.
Uh-huh.
And doing a citizens reentry program as well. So I'm busy, but it's all because of the grace of God.
Yes, sir.
And God's passion for people that I do what I do, man. So I ain't got much going on.
There you go. Man, sounding to me like you got a lot going on, brother.
Man, I gotta. I'm a servant of the people, brother. At the end of the day, I always have, and I always will be. So, enjoy what you do. You'll never spend a day at work, brother.
There you go. Exactly. And we got Captain Leonard here with us this morning. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Leonard, can you hear me?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Good. Yeah, good. Leonard, they're doing something. I think you're over there making a sandwich, Curtis.
No, I'm not.
I believe that joke over there making a sandwich this morning. I'm gonna tell you what I think he's doing now.
No, man, I'm getting situated.
Okay. Curtis said something in what he's doing, and I want to stay on that for a minute. We certainly got a topic today. We got an amazing topic. I want to definitely get into this topic. But he said, "I am a servant of the people." That's a powerful statement, Leonard. That's a powerful statement. How many of us should be servants of the people?
I thought about it when you said it. Those that have a desire to do so should. Servitude is significant of being on a path. So if someone said I'm a servant to the people, I would usually assume that they were a decent person.
Or they cared.
Yes. That's I could tell what path they're on. And the majority of the time, it is at least good. I used to tell people, you ain't got to save the world, but at least try to save one other person.
Yeah.
If you don't do nothing else, just one other person. You don't have to know them or anything like that. You want to be always working on good works. Good works, I think, is very important. And that's a good work to be a servant to the people.
Now, Curtis, when you said that, brother, tell me from your heart of hearts, what exactly does that mean to be a servant of the people? And do everybody get it?
Be right back.
Okay.
Most don't get it, and the reason why they don't get it is because American society and culture is built primarily around, the dollars and cents.
Yeah.
So we kind of forget about those who may have a lack of, and I'm not just talking about a lack of money. Some may have discipline. Some may have a lack of knowledge or know-how. Some may have a lack of proper etiquette. Some may have health issues that causes lacks. And that feel we tend to forget about the barriers that a given person may have that will cause for them to have a lack of, you know. Sometimes we can get so caught up in the ideology that if a computer is accessible, everything that you need is right there, and that is so true. To a larger degree, or if you're looking at the bigger picture, if you're looking at the smaller picture, that is true. But in the bigger picture, you have those who don't have the mental capacity or cognitive skill, and they know good enough how to move through a computer, and they will be easy targets or fall be easy prey to websites and knowledge or so-called knowledge that's coming through the computer that is fake and lies and
deceit,
and hatred, all types, man. As I mean, Denzel said it best. He said, "When does too much information become bad for you?" So you know, you know, in dealing with that population, there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make, and I'm pretty sure Leonard knows. You know, there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make. But you know, to be a servant of the people is also to have a heightened level of empathy and sympathy.
Yeah, exactly.
But just, you know what I mean?
Good deal. Good deal. We got my Goddess is with us this morning. Good morning, Goddess. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Goddess, we're talking about, and this certainly is not our topic for today. You know, we just open up with something a little different, a little lighter, if you will. But we're asking to be a servant of the people, to be a servant of the people. Goddess, I know you out there, you do a lot of things for a lot of people in and around your community and communities. So what does it mean, Goddess, to you to be a servant of the people?
Number one, you have to listen to the people. In order to serve somebody, you got to listen to them. I was just in a meeting the other day how the people that are most affected don't have a seat at the table to tell them how we need to be helped. You can always, I'm going to give an example of the homeless and chronically homeless. It's always good for me to ask you what you need instead of me telling you what you need. And that's what goes on. And then on top of that, we look at it in a subjective, and we give out ideas that are really inhuman. And it degrades the people, degrades that person as a whole. Let me give you an example. They said, well, the homeless needs a place to stay, so when they go in some of these shelters, they don't have a place to put, for their belongings, because they don't want to. The shelters don't want you to bring all your belongings because they don't have really a place for you to put them. So the city council decided, hey, well, let's give them new trash cans, newer trash cans, and they can store that stuff in trash cans. So what is that saying to the people? The stuff that I have is trash.
It's garbage. Yeah.
And this is my lively belongings.
Wow.
Other thing is, what am I still saying to the people? If we give you this land and you can, and we'll call it Tent City, So that means I don't deserve a house? But you'll spend $4 million for 3 months for a hotel.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You gotta listen to the people.
Yeah,
You gotta listen to the people.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you brought that to the table. That's good. That's real good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh, I'm just listening because, you know, there are several solutions a lot of times to a problem,
Mm-hmm.
and how people address it is based on their resources and what's available. And that's the thing about it. You know, when I'm always talking about not imposing upon people, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you if I don't know what you need?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily assume people are in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what their situation is.
Yeah.
And that's why I
question.
believe in organization,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to have a mission and an objective.
Mm-hmm.
A mission and an objective. That which does not fit into your objective.
Mm-hmm.
Even when finding resources for people when they call and need help, you still have to fit a particular criteria, because this is why this particular group and how they're helping people.
And one of the things there is, and both of you said, you and God has said something about this as well. I think it's a terrible I think, and y'all correct me, you certainly correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm off base with this thing, but I think it's a terrible thing to just assume that everybody want exactly what it is that you want and that you desire, and you want them to walk every step that you walk. Maybe that's not what they want. And talk to me about that.
And that's why I never pursue things that way.
Mm-hmm.
For the very simple fact, I will do what it is that is necessary,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't dictate it to a person.
Yeah.
Jesus ain't gonna make me love it. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna try to make somebody think that of me. And even when you're helping certain populations, you have to really know the population that you're helping or attempting to help, because that may be out of what you deem as appropriate, but it's not for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when people say this, that, and the other, you know, even when feeding people, for instance, there could be homeless people who are vegetarians.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That don't mean you take the attitude that you ought to be glad to get anything to eat.
Mm-hmm. Beggars can't be chosen.
Because some people think like that.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So, you know, I'm always cautious of what I'm doing when I say I'm helping. Am I really helping?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I certainly don't want to be in the way. But I don't believe that everybody's situation is the same. I believe that if we organize, we can help a lot more people than what we're doing right now. A lot of times people come with, you should do this, you should know. Give me your plan for what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come over here criticizing what people are trying to do, unless you're trying to help them. If you have a completely different idea for how people should be helped, guess what? You go start your organization doing that if it's not already there.
Mm-hmm. And that's good. And that's good, because a lot of times the person will come in, and I'm not gonna say they come in with bad intentions. They may think that their ideas of what you're doing. If you have if you say feeding the houseless, if you have an organization where you feed the houseless, and you have somebody to come in, and they may have the resources and stuff like that, but they have the ideas of, we could do this better, we could do that better, and they come in and because of the fact they want to be helpful, they become a hindrance, and they become a stumbling block to your organization. Should you tell that person, look here, maybe you need to go over there and start your own, and if we can work together, we will, but this is not the place for you. How would you handle that, Curtis?
How would I handle somebody with that's causing progress?
Takeover spirit. A takeover spirit.
We want to love those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's you can walk them to the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's your program. Walk them to the door.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not doing what your program needs to have done, you walk them to the door. You tell them, you know, you let them know, like, look, you know, our program is going in this direction, in another direction. We could use your help. I would highly recommend that you go and get your numbers right, and then maybe we can do a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need your services, but our program is not structured like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's real. That's an MOU.
Mm-hmm.
That's a memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
Some memorandums of understanding, you don't even have to. It does not have to have any money connected to it, because the most powerful part of a memorandum of understanding on a governmental level is the fact that a given program has a partnership with another program.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a program has moved to. What partnerships do you have to accomplish your mission?
Mm-hmm.
Unless your program is just that big that it can almost stand on its own, and most programs can.
Yeah.
In the city, I would say you probably have maybe 4 or 5 agencies that can actually stand on their own. And you're lucky to have 4 or 5 that can actually stand on their own and cover everything in terms of service, in terms of a service-based agency.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have 4 or 5 entities that can stand on their own. I just, right off the top of my head, I can give you one. Catholic Charities can stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Catholic Charities, realistically, do not need any partnerships, but they have partnerships because, you know, the understanding is that's just the way to get things done. But realistically, Catholic Charities can stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And also we have what is called the Weinberg Group. The Weinberg Group basically is an agency that issues out grant money to other smaller agencies. But realistically, if they wanted to, they could stand on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Good deal.
That's all you gotta do.
Absolutely.
We get let them know.
Mm-hmm. I got you. That get to stepping basically. We got Tucson with us as well. Good morning, Tucson. How you doing this morning?
Look at that. Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell. Need me to come back to you?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let me go back to Goddess. Goddess, you say you love them takeover spirits. Why do you love those?
Reason why I love takeover spirits because I got a takeover spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see most people are not visionary. They have ideas, but my takeover spirit is not one that I'm getting ready to take over something and try to call it mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different type of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
A takeover spirit is, I see where you lacking at. I'm gonna come in and do exactly where you lacking at.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you. Let me ask you this, God, and that could be a good thing, or that could be on the negative side. When you say that, are you having conversations with the person? And I'm asking you for your standpoint and from where you're coming from, because everybody else may be totally different. So would you go to that person and say, "Okay, go ahead."
That's what I was getting ready to do.
Okay, go ahead.
Reason why I have a takeover spirit, because I have always been a troubleshooter.
Mm-hmm.
And a troubleshooter is someone who sits back in the back in any business and they're able to troubleshoot where the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know where the problem is, and that's one of my expertise, when you know where the problem is, you know how to attack a situation and you know how to proceed further.
Mm-hmm.
I personally just had a situation. We have a jazz district where it's about 5 of us it's all black owned, and we own basically a whole block and a half
Mm-hmm.
in the jazz district.
Okay.
And they are forever in a day sending somebody down there to handle stuff. Well, we have got to the point where we stopped the city from trying to come in and put these boards together to try to control us.
Mm-hmm.
So we had somebody else that I ended up knowing that she's pretty pro-black, she's pretty all that, but she has a takeover spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But her takeover spirit was a different kind of spirit. So you got to realize what kind of her spirit was what can I do to take over and also put money in my pocket too?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really a takeover spirit, but it's a takeover spirit with profit gains for themselves. So I finally had to check her the other day. Well, we checked her a long time ago and she went on her way. But I also had to come back to her because she has to know her downfalls, where she stand at, how you can help us. Again, bringing us back to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the difference is.
Okay. That's good.
So I appreciate some of her items, and we needed her. We needed her. You know, not that you don't listen, but we needed to listen to her. I mean, we needed to tell her where we stand at, and the fact that you can't come in here and do the same thing that they was doing, or dropping these names because this person sent you. I don't care if it was the mayor. I don't care if it was the ex-councilman. Those are the ones who we don't want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me do.
So now that you done dropped those names, now we don't want you.
Exactly. Hold right there, sister. Let me be equal with my time. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, how do you deal with a takeover spirit? A person that has a takeover spirit, be it good or bad?
Well, you know, usually it's how would I say how I do it is maybe a little different. That one, I directly address that individual, and we have a private conversation. I don't let things get too out of control, but nor do I have a takeover spirit. So I don't usually operate that way. And even with working with other organizations, I like what Kurt said, a memorandum of understanding. It explains the relationship between organizations, and it's good for people to stay in their lane. So
what if you know that their intentions may be honorable, may be good. The intentions may be good, but it's just that they come in, man, it's like oil and water. They just, you know, nothing that we've done or have been doing or intend to do is good enough. And you have to, we're gonna change this, we're gonna change that. We know you this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. How do you deal with that, Leonard? Because that can be distracting.
If I didn't invite you, if that's not why you're there for that purpose, you can go out and hire somebody to do that. But if I didn't give you that authority or permission, you're not going to be around. You're going to fall in line and do exactly what is necessary and what has been laid out for you. If you can't serve that purpose, you need to move on. I don't care what your resources are or anything else. You will not control this. I know people that go around and destroy every good work that you can imagine because of their attitude.
Wow.
I don't do spirits, period. I'm about a mission and an objective. At no time do I need you to feel a certain way about anything. Here's the program. This is what it is. This is what we do. Now, if what you want to do is outside the scope of this organization, then you need another organization. Just like when your kids, for instance. When you get to the point where you want to tell me what to do, it's time to go. Yeah. It's time to go. It's no hard feelings. It's just time for you to go. Go and grow somewhere else.
Spread your wings out there.
Right. It's hard enough that we're trying to help people with problems, and somebody come in and bring that problem to the front of to the table. We're here to help, not harm or hinder. So whatever your good intentions may be, they had better fit into the scope of the organization. And if you got, you know how there's some people, they want to run their way. And they don't care who funded it, who started it, what the purpose. They just come in and they feel like they got, for some reason, some authority to do things like that. So you have to be the stronger person. That's why you need a good leader.
If you don't listen to me, and what I'm telling you is not gonna make it, you're gonna fail.
Then let us fail. Because let us fail there. Let us fail there. Because we didn't even ask you to come by here.
Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, good morning, sir? How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
This ain't even Wednesday, brother. But how do you deal with, and I'm sure you've encountered a person that had a takeover spirit and come in and want to implement their ideas, thought, mannerisms, or whatever onto a certain program. How do you deal with that, Tucson?
I expose them. Put them out there. Go on. If they talk too much, I let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to run things, I give them 24 hours to run it in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because they think they know. So I just back out.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. You know, or that's one of my little favorite sayings. Let's see how that work out for you.
Mm-hmm.
You go ahead. It's your smart self. See, there's some people you can't convince them that they're ignorant.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because they don't know. The last one. Let's see how I can say this. To the fool, the last one to know he's a fool is the fool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you put him out there and let him make a fool out of himself. And when he sees himself in the mirror, you know, the only thing he's going to do is blame it on somebody else and try to figure out the reason why they allowed it to happen.
It didn't work.
At least everybody else will know.
It didn't work because they didn't listen to me. It didn't work because they didn't listen to me.
Like boo-boo the fool. Crazy shit.
508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. 508-924-3521. If you know somebody that have a takeover spirit, if you experience somebody with a takeover spirit, how did you handle that situation? How did it fit in to what you all were trying to do? Now, God, they said a lot of different things about a takeover spirit, and I'm saying this because you said it already that you have a takeover spirit. So how do you gauge yours so the person don't feel like you're trying to infringe on them?
Because how I gauge mine is when I come in, usually I've been asked because of my expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come in with a takeover spirit, they've already fallen or about to fall, and that's just what I do. Like I do it for banks, credit unions. That was one of my main things. Is we had to shut down our particular area, like I told them. We had to. They brought me in to try to save a couple their actual commercial accounts, because they had me look at all their commercial accounts and see where they're lending, where they continue to lend and not had any assets. So a bank can't continue on if you lent off a name with no assets to sell. Mm-hmm. So I had to go through each and every case file and basically look and see where they stand at. So I was hired to come in and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I never went and tried to take over somebody's situation on a level where I just had that takeover spirit where I want to take over your situation. I don't work like that. Mine is, you didn't call me in and, hey, I need your help, and this is what I need your help in. Like right now, somebody called me to come in, and because I have certain things with the city, to come in and help plan a jazz and blues concert. I didn't come over and take over anything. The only thing I did was the background on whatever needed to be done to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it could happen.
Okay.
Other than that, I do what you asked me to do. But when I do, I'm taking over that situation. Don't come ask me to do something and then you tell me how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Since we talking this morning, and this is not our topic. This is our wake up topic right here. But we're talking about a takeover spirit. Toya with a T, how do you deal with an individual that has you're in management and you go in there and you're doing your job, and you have somebody that's working under you at that particular time, and you know they got this takeover spirit. They got this takeover spirit. The way I'm gonna do it, the way I want to do it, this is the way it's gonna be done, and this is a better way, so I'm gonna do it this way. Toya, how do you deal with that individual?
You got to be honest with those kind of people. Most people have that kind of spirit because they've been allowed to get away with it. So sometimes you got to be honest with people. Wait a minute, stop, calm down. You know, they do that at work all the time. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's about me or they think I'm supposed to be taking over and I'm not or whatever. But sometimes they get, oh, well, we need, wait, all right, calm down. All right, it's not that serious. We're not going to die. We're not creating a cure to COVID. We're just doing this, that, and the third. So I think sometimes you just have to communicate to people and let them know, hey, I'm here to help, not to take over, or you're taking over, and no one else can get an opportunity to be able to get in here, and that's not right. You know what I mean? I'm all for communication. I'm all for speaking up and telling people what the problem is. And I have no problem saying, yo, you come to take over something, but we a team, right? Yeah. So it's coming off as if you're trying to do everything and you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's the real kicker. If you're trying to take over something and you don't know what you're doing, like class yesterday with production, we all learning how to work cameras, and you're coming trying to tell me how to do something. Yo, bruh, stop. Right there, chill. We in class together, right? Okay, then when I'm gonna listen to the teacher, hold that down real quick. You know what I mean? So I believe that honesty is always the key. And as a leader, understanding how to deal with people. You know, when you go into certain situations, how people are going to react. And you come from a team aspect. You ask questions. What do you think we should do? Things of that nature. That's what a real leader does. A real leader don't just go and take over everything because they understand it. You know, people can get offended. Some people, how they move. Some people and things of that nature. You know, so a real leader is going to come in to be a team player and not just take over everything. And they're going to make sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Rico, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm just grateful to see another day, man.
Yes, sir. You been listening to us this morning?
No, I just got on.
Yeah, we're talking about a takeover spirit. Rico, you got an organization, and you got some people that come in, and you can tell one or two of the people have this takeover spirit. And somebody got the mic still on. Turn the mic off, and you realize that that one or two people.
Overnight thought.
Tucson.
Rethink.
Okay, let me. And maybe Tucson, he got something going on over there. But and you realize that one or two of the people that's in your group, your organization, operation, have a takeover spirit, and the way that you all been doing things is not good enough. We're gonna do it this way. We know no, that's not working, and they're gonna change within inside your organization. They're gonna change certain elements about your organization. That's been working with you for a long time. It's been working for you, but they said we can make it better. We're gonna do this better. How do you deal with a takeover spirit, Rico?
Man, it depends on how beneficial it is to everybody. They are to everybody. Their purpose or intent. You know, because to be honest with you, I wonder if it can really always be a takeover spirit, or if it could be an essential spirit. You know how like a contribution. You know how some people like to make a contribution to whatever they're being a part of. You know, could you be just taking it as a takeover spirit when really and truly they're trying to contribute to the success or the progress of what you have going on? You know, some people don't have those leadership skills, or they don't have business skills to be the big boss or to be the CEO. But at the same time, they could be an awesome contributor. They have just as, you know, they might be good at having the same visions you have and actually make your vision better. So it depends on the intent. Now, if they coming to you trying to actually dismiss your leadership skills, that's probably a takeover, you know what I'm saying, spirit. Then they trying to tell you, look, man, I don't like the way you run this company. I think I could do the whole thing better. Matter of fact, I think we need to get you out the way. Then if you can notice that ahead of time, you either find a way, you have to really find a way to counter that in different ways. Maybe it's to use them to your advantage and then cut their heads off. Or maybe confront them and run them off from the very beginning, but I definitely wouldn't want to keep them around.
They can't be there.
I wouldn't want to keep them around. But if I saw that they benefited me to a certain extent, and I knew that I could control or hamper what they were doing, then I would keep them around till I needed them. I would make them very expendable. What you call collateral damage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once I realized that they had a plot or a scheme, you know what I'm saying, I would definitely strategize to counter that for my best benefit. You know what I'm saying? Either I can get rid of them right now, or maybe, you know, hey, I know what they're trying to do. The only way they can do it is this and this, but I need them for this and that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start urging them, and I'm gonna give them a little rope to make them feel like they got me. And once they give me everything I need from them, off with the head.
Now, Rico, I'm gonna say this to you. You know, I know you, and I know we know each other, but some people listening may not know you. Some people would say, well, you know, you're using that person, then you're using them. This joker. Okay,
Hey, man, listen. They said treat people the way you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So if you had plans to do me like that, you must want me to treat you like that. You want to sneak attack me? I'm gonna be the best sneak attacker. I'm gonna be a pirate. I'm gonna show you how to do it. And I'm gonna give you what you want and some. You know my motto. You treat me good, I treat you better. You treat me bad, I treat you worse.
Yes,
so
sir.
once you introduce that disloyalty to me, then you know I got to give it back to you. You must love it. So I'm gonna give it to you as much as you want.
Lord. Kurt, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Lord. Kurt, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Talk to me, brother.
Sometimes, you know, as a leader, you have to recognize, like, the takeover spirit that a person may have. You got to be able to recognize when that spirit is going to be beneficial to you. So, sometimes, in most cases, you got to recognize how many people this particular person got with them. Sometimes you got to take a person's faults, which we would consider as their weaknesses, and make it their strengths. One of the things that we have gotten away from as a country is making a real investment.
Hey, Kurt, are you talking directly to your phone, brother? It's just we could hear you, but it's a little bit low.
Yeah, one of the things that we have gotten away from in American culture today is we have stopped making investments in employees. So we have stopped taking employee strengths and using them to our advantage, because sometimes we become a council culture. Most times we become a council culture. So that very same person might be, you got to look at it in terms of assets and liabilities. Once you determine, is this person an asset or is there a liability? If they're an asset, you don't want to let them go. You want to, remember the old saying Mama and them used to say, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer?
Yes.
But you're supposed to be able to determine, is this my friend or is this my foe? And if my friend, then okay, we making judgments. If it's my foe, then guess what? I need to keep my eyes on them at least until I can make a move that is more beneficial to my bottom line. Kind of like Rico said, you know what I mean? But for me as a leader, I tend to go more with a democratic style of leadership. You know what I'm saying? That's led by, you know, training and led by gaining a greater understanding of what it is that people who work for me need. So if I can supply that need in this character that we're talking about is a part of my application of that need, then no, I'm not sending them out the door at all. I'm gonna try my best not to.
But see,
because they're feeling.
But see, that also could go back to what I said, and some people listening may say, well, what you're doing, you're actually using that person for your own benefit. You're using that person. Is there any facts in that?
No, that's not fact. I'm using you and you're still, and I'm not giving you anything. I'm using you, but if you're gaining from me utilizing your skills, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not using them.
Okay.
You're gaining from me utilizing your ability. So if your ability is, for example, you have people at work, and I'm pretty sure we all have seen it, you have those who come to work who have a unique ability that they just can reach staff. That's their ability. Now, you have ignorant folks who will get jealous and say he think everybody was like him. No, it's just his natural aura, or it's her natural aura that people come up and talk to him, or people come up and talk to her. So now, guess what? You know what? Hey, let me see you in my office.
Exactly. Okay, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. That does make sense, but still, in all, somebody still will look at it and say, "Well, you're using this person for your benefit." If they didn't have those qualities, it wouldn't be the same situation. But then again, you wouldn't have the same situation because they don't have the qualities. So it's two ways to look at that. Let me go to Captain. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, my brothers, how y'all?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Asking a question, Captain. I need to hear from you on this. You have an organization. You're running your business, and you realize that there's someone in your organization that has a takeover spirit. They got that takeover spirit in them, and everything that you've been doing to this point is not good enough. They're gonna change. You're gonna do it my way. Blah blah blah. They just got that takeover spirit. How do you deal with the takeover spirit, Captain?
Well, I mean, you can't be mad wants to keep you at the top of your game, man. I mean, if you find yourself slack, somebody gonna be right there to fill that void. I think it's a natural for in the spirit. We had that on this line. We got men on here who got to take over spirit. Men, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I just think that we all have to have that takeover spirit. I just came back yesterday of Jalen Walker. I went to go up to Akron and do my share to let everybody know, man, that they let them just murder that brother, and I'm just up the street and I don't do nothing. So I had to take over me some soldiers. We went up there, and when we went up there in our orange, this I'm present for peace. And we was oranged out. And 7, 8 deep, they grabbed me. Oh, Mr. Muhammad, you the peacekeeper? Yeah. Took us right up. They couldn't do it. I was just on the family and VIP. I went from talking at my man's body. They did a good job to cover up the bullet holes that was in his face. I was there. I didn't took charge. Take over spirit. I mean, I'm not going to sit back and wait for somebody to die. I'm a grown man. And I took over. And then the brothers that was there, thanks to the brothers that was there, the peacekeeper said, no, sir, this Captain Muhammad, he's the founder. We want him to sit him over there with take over spirit. So I'm not mad with the take over spirit, but attitude in order to get the job done. That's how I feel about it. I hope I answered the question.
Okay. Yeah, you did, but your volume is kind of skipping a little bit on us. It's skipping just a little bit. Something's going on with your volume this morning. Let me go back to Curtis. I'm mutual line, Curtis. Let me go back to Toya with a T. Toya, what's on your heart, sis?
Right here, my line.
So I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. That Dawn Tucson? Is that you? Somebody got a conversation going on in the background. Yeah, that's Dawn. It's Tucson. Tucson, mute your line, man. Sorry about that, Curtis. Toya with a T.
Yes.
Tucson hung up. I ain't gonna mute it. I ain't gonna. What's on your heart, sis?
We be busy. It's our second job for some of us. So we be busy at real work, and then we got to come with BKM work. So you got to forgive us sometimes.
There you go.
But I like what Captain just said about takeover. A lot of people do want people to be assertive and take over. Depending on the setting. Most people that are in charge, if you switch to a relationship setting, are those people who want somebody to take over if they're not at work. You know what I'm saying? You just got to have to know how to identify what kind of spirit that person is having. And this is a good or bad spirit, because they're taking over for what reason? To make it better, or to try to juice it for what they can get out of it. You know what I'm saying? To use it for purposes of their own and not for nobody else. So I know I have a takeover spirit. I will take over. I'm very aggressive, assertive. You know, my spirit just is a different kind of spirit. So people kind of look for me to take over. You know, but I'm a very considerate person. I always consider other people first. I always consider that some people are not leaders and want to be in the lead and things of that nature. So I will always stand in the background and try not to overshadow people, but everybody is not like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple of things you need to look at with the takeover spirit. Is it an issue with you because you're jealous? Because if you're an individual to say, no, I don't want to take over, I'm going to be in the background, and we need a leader, then what's the beef? You know what I'm saying? Like there are multiple things and reasons on why people have takeover spirits, you know, and depending on what setting you're on. Again, for example, most women, right, and another woman with a takeover spirit will probably look to check everything that I do. So again, yesterday in class, the lady's like, oh, somebody already did that. She got to take over spirit. She got to talk over everybody. She got to try kind of crack jokes. And okay. And then when I went to go look, it wasn't done. So I said, oh, well, man, this is from last week. This is not this week. Well, I thought. See, that's how you lose respect, because, see, now you want to come do everything. You want to come run everything. And you don't even know what the heck you're doing. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even take the time to look to see what's really going on. And now that's how you got another individual to come from the background to see that you're trying to run something, but you don't know what you're doing. So I think that it's important that when you notice that kind of leadership trait, that it is being utilized in the absolute best way. Because, like Tina Turner say, right, we looking for a hero. That's what we're looking for. So if we get a person that does that, if they got the right intentions, I think, you know, hey, what's wrong with that? That's kind of what we want. But if you notice that kind of behavior, and if you know that person is a thief, you can have a leadership spirit all you want to, but if you know they're stealing, you know they don't do things in the right manner in their own personal way, you know they're not a team player in your own personal way, then it's time for you to start opening up your mouth and making sure, you know, because everybody don't want to be that. So I think that's a very critical component in a human being that we need to notice. And then we need to know how to operate and what kind of individual we dealing with.
Wow. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? God is coming to you next.
I mean, I think we hit on a lot of different things as it relates to what is really leadership. And there's different, even with management, there's difference in managing professionals. There's difference in managing volunteers. There's difference in managing for-profits, non-profits. Leadership is just a concept, and it's how you get things done. I think too many people struggle too much. I never go in a situation telling other people what to do. As a matter of fact, I'm a lot more democratic when it comes to certain things. But shout out to one of the professor I had, Dr. Taylor. You can't go no further than your assessment. So you need to assess a problem before you try to start solving a problem. I shut you down immediately when I know you are going against the mission. You know, and then you get some people that will say, well, you should do this. You know what I should do? Exactly what I was paid to do. That's what I should do. Now, if we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that. I know people that come and destroy organizations, and every organization they go to, they destroy because of that spirit. They have no vision. All they do is come to nitpick and to destroy what it is that you're trying to do. And they come up with all sorts of excuses for what they call it and blah, 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 blah. That's not why I'm here. All the talents and things that I do have, if I go into a certain situation, it may be my lane to be quiet. I can follow any man with a good vision. Any man. Does not even matter to me who it is, what color they are. If they're a good person about a righteous work, I can follow them. Because that's what I'm about. The righteousness of a situation and getting something done. I remember when I was a manager in corporate America, you know, some people didn't want to work for somebody black, so we had to explain to them, then let's move you right out the door.
Yeah.
Because we have to get something done. You know, I hate when you come to a meeting and you got somebody that just want to blah, 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 blah. You spend more time arguing with people about what you think they ain't doing right and this, that, and the other than doing what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. If you want this position, come take it. Matter of fact, like Donald said, I'm going to give it to you. Because one thing about the way I operate, I'm a very peaceful person. I remove myself from the presence. So I'm going to step away. I don't have to do anything. That's why I'm so free.
That's good.
Because I don't go into situations just to call. I know people that they just messy people. Everywhere they go. Everybody not lying on you. I've told people ahead of time, you know what? Yeah, we're going to work together. However, I see something that I don't care for already. And I just want to make sure we have an understanding so it don't go too far.
Nip it.
Yeah, right away. It's because memorandums of understanding takes care of that. We're not going to go back and forth about nothing. If I'm employed to work the cash register, guess what I do? I work the cash register. I'm not back there trying to tell the man how to cook. Because it's not my position. And a lot of people just be out of position. And good leaders work with people with skills and talents that will benefit the organization. But they also know when to cut the ties.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis?
I was looking at it at all kind of perspectives. I'm looking at it in relationship wise. I'm looking at it in all kind of wise. I don't want no man that can't come over and take over. I want me a man that's gonna be a man, because a man that knows how to. There's a difference between take over and control, and people need to realize that. And taking over is a different thing than control, and y'all are mixing it up between takeover and control. So. Takeover, to me, a takeover spirit is somebody, hey, I need that person. Because, see, you wouldn't need that person to come in and take over if you wouldn't ask. A takeover person is somebody, hey, I'm confident in what I need to be done. I know how to get this handled. I can come over and take over this particular part that you're asking me to come in and take over. Not come in and control everything that you got going on. Now those are two different spirits, and I want me a man that's gonna come in and take over. Like what's Ibrahim said, he came up to Ohio and he came in. He basically came in with that man's spirit. See, he came in with that spirit where I'm here, so people wanted him to come in and take over. See, when you carry that spirit. That's the spirit of God. Because you're walking in with the confidence. You're walking in with an aura. And when you walk in with an aura, that's just like you know a real man from a man that ain't. I want a real man that's going to come in and say, hey, baby, I know what you need. And we can discuss if I'm wrong or whatever. I want a man to come in and take over. Take over opening my doors. Take over and saying, hey, let's get this together. I see where you're lacking at. Let's get this together. Can I help you do whatever? See, a spirit of takeover is also a docile spirit, because they're going to ask you, they're going to talk to you. Not a controlling spirit. Now, I can't deal with a controlling man because I'm an alpha female.
Okay.
But I can deal with a man that has that takeover spirit, and then I can come in and be a woman and put myself in a woman's point of view and allow him, and he's gonna not allow him, but he's gonna be that alpha male. And I'm going to follow that alpha male.
That's good. That's
y'all
good.
Y'all getting me confused, baby. I don't want no weak ass man.
Hey,
I want a man with a backbone.
Hey, Goddess, remember where you at now? Remember where you
I'm
at?
just saying.
No, okay. Remember where you at? Okay, just remember.
I'm trying to figure out who getting confused.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Go ahead, Rico.
Man, you know, it once again it goes back to their intent. You know, I look at a person that may have a takeover spirit of somebody that's ambitious, because that's one thing they do have to be, is ambitious. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they're strong-willed. So now if they're coming in like Toya hit it on the head, if they're coming in just to see what they could get out the deal so they could become rich and powerful or whatever, or they just want to become controlling of the situation, that's different, because you do have some people that are thirsty for power. So those, they will come in to try to take over and have that power and control and completely wreck things, like Leonard said a second ago. Some people come in and they destroy everything everywhere they go, but they have the right mouthpiece. They have the right knowledge. They have the right image. They have the right look. They have all of this and that. And then they come in and they just ruin everything. But see, now me, you know, depending on your intention, I could think about all the different times I went to jobs and I would probably end up finding a way to make that job better than the person that trained me showed me to do it. And I would make that job so easy, probably have it doing things that nobody ever did before. They were like, man, how you get these numbers out? How you getting this done? And then you got this much time to break and this and that. And so when I decided to leave, I would train the next person to keep up that standard or to surpass it. As a union representative, when I was asked to be a union representative, I started out representing myself. I started superseding the union and representing myself, but I still utilized them for what I had to use them for. Sooner or later, people asked me to be the union rep. I didn't even believe in unions at first. But as I started accomplishing goals and it was time for me to move on, and I knew that, hey, what I was doing was different than all the union representatives before me, when nobody really putting the work in like I was, but when they wasn't as sincere and genuine. I was hoping to leave it to somebody, or somebody would take over that position and be able to make it move as fast or just as good as I did and not lose the momentum that I had picked up. Maybe not lose the progress that I had made. You know, sometimes you have to get off. You say, hey, man, I'm gonna need you to take over. And then you come back and say, I appreciate you for doing such a good job. So sometimes, you know, depending on if they in it for the right reason, if they have a real purpose in being a team player, you know, if you are proud, like I'm proud of DKL Media, and I don't get nothing out of this. I don't get one thing out of this. But I'm proud of it because, number one, I participate in it. And anything I participate in, I wanted to be successful. And I wanted to have a good standing. I wanted to be worthy and valuable. I wanted to be something honorable. So if I'm going to be a part of it, I'm going to try to be the best that I can contributing to this. That's why you might see me make recommendations. Hey, Raheem, this might be a good topic. You got the platform. I could talk about these things myself, but I don't have the platform you have. There are certain things that you have that I don't have. I remember you told me how you got your start in the church. You didn't try to take that man over, but that man still saw that you was ambitious and you were strong-willed and you took the initiative. Like what Goddess was just talking about, a man taking an initiative. When he sees something that needs to happen, he just go ahead and do it because it needs to be done. You saw that. You saw that. You saw it was a gap that needed to be filled. You did it, and then this man came to you and said, well, hey, not only do I want you to take this over, but I'm going to introduce you into something that can make you even better in it because I see something in you. And I ain't taking this motivation and this ambition that you got as a threat on what I got going on. Because I'm more about the bigger picture of making this thing successful and not about me just looking good because I'm the man that's running the show.
That's good. That's absolutely, man. So I want to get to the topic. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to transition where we can actually get to the topic of the day. I think is good, just like this. But Captain, turn your camera back on if you can, if you don't mind doing so, sir. And I want to see what's on your heart. Captain, you there? There you go. Captain? I think Captain might be in a bad area. He's skipping just a little bit. I think he might be in a bad area. Let me go to Curtis still with us. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, first and foremost, man, let me say this. any real, and this is no slight to goddess, because she is a goddess in her own right. But any real man is going to follow his woman anyway, because at the end of the day, the woman is the nurturer, and her nurturing don't stop once a kid turns 18 years old. Any real man will tell you, in most cases, when it comes down to choosing his mate, if he's a man and not a boy that chooses off of a physical feeling or physical look, there's something about you that has a quality that directly correlates to a major female influence in his life. Thus bringing me to my next point, which is any good leader is an even better follower. That is a guarantee. So good leaders possess, every good leader that I've ever worked for possess one quality that I truly, truly can respect. And in today's world, it is shunned upon. You know what that is, Raheem?
What's that?
They are transformational. That means that they see the world beyond, they see a situation, they see the world, a situation, and a circumstance beyond where you and your corporation is now. So a good leader, let's say a good leader is set in the midst of DKM, and we already touching 58, 68 countries. A good leader is foreseeing people sitting in the Congo with a radio listening to DKM. A good leader is foreseeing some of these topics that you guys have. We need to start writing scripts and start shooting some TV series or some films, because some of these topics are so deep that you can actually write a whole entire feature film of just y'all show alone. Or y'all show alone is a show, is a film. So good leaders have a tendency to be forward thinkers. And what happens is they wind up sitting in a room with a bunch of transactional people. And whenever you sit in a room with transactional people, you know what happens when something breaks up? The first thing they do is look for the manual. Well, what if we don't have a manual? What if we just got to use some common sense? So, you know, I just wanted to throw that out there. But what's really on my mind is that this is a platform to everyone's credit. This is a platform. This is the first and only platform. Well, I'm gonna say the first platform that I have ever participated in to where I set every morning around what I think are the greatest of leadership. You know what I mean? Like, if you painted a photo, you ever seen the photo where you got Theodore Roosevelt on there, you got Abraham Lincoln on there, you got Martin Luther King on there, you got Malcolm X on there, you got Marcus Garvey on there, you got all of these great leaders, John Lewis on there. You ever seen that photo? It's set like the Last Supper, but it's not the disciples. It's the leaders of our world over the course of, let's say, 60, 70 years, 100 years. When I do this panel and this show, I view this panel and this show specifically from that picture.
Wow.
There's Leonard, there's Toussaint, there's Rico, there's Raheem, there's Toya, there's Goddess, there's I call it a prayer. Oh my God, I forgot the lady name. The one who pray all the time.
Willa.
My spirit every morning. Willa. There's Willa. There's, okay, here's Cat sitting right here. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? Like, this is the first platform I ever participated in where the leadership is phenomenal. So I appreciate that. That's all I gotta say.
To God be the glory. Yes, sir.
And now I'm gonna transform back into my original self.
Absolutely. Captain, can we hear you, sir? Captain, you there? Captain, we got some issues with your line. You might be in a bad area. What we're going to do if nobody
Captain out there in that exotic location, man. You know he's moving around like Jacques Cousteau.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. if nobody else have anything to say on this particular topic, right? Let me see. Oh, we got him back in. Let me see. Can we get him? Captain.
Well, I left out Bishop and I left out Cassandra. My bad.
Okay, good deal. Captain, you there? Nope. His video is there, but we don't have any volume with him. We're gonna go on and transition over to our topic for the day. And Leonard, I'm gonna start it off with you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, society, dealing with everybody in the society that we live in. Leonard, why? Give me your take on why are we so divided?
There's a natural division. There's a natural division into people being concerned about themselves and their commitment to the society. Some people are not aware of their position in society. Some people choose not to participate in a certain way. I'm a big fan of stakeholder principle, and that's identifying your part in the society. You know, you got citizen, government official. Those are different positions. So when trying to get people to understand the right to vote as a civic duty, you teach them about citizenship and why it's important. This is why the movement was led the way it was led. We must become citizens of this particular country, because with the position of citizen comes rights. You understand? So it's always important to find out, you know, people say division. Division is not always a bad thing. People always speak of division as if someone forcing you not to come together and all this type of thing or what have you. You just may have a different skill set. Maybe a different skill set. It ain't necessarily division. It's just you do something else. The division of labor gets things done better. It addresses all the parts of the project. When you work as a project manager, you're working with several professionals, excellent at what they do. Your job is to make sure that they get to the end of the project successfully. I'm not going to tell the writer of the program how to write the program. I'm going to make sure that what he writes fits with the overall desired outcome of the project. You understand what I'm saying? That's my job, project manager. That's what I'm doing. I'm managing the project, managing the talent to make sure we get it done, because somebody's paying me to do that. Professionally, like with consulting, my job is to help you develop your ideas. You don't come to me and say, I need a business idea. No, you come with a business idea and I help you develop your business idea. You know, I'm not here to run your business or anything like that. I'm to help you develop the idea. And if you want me to do something else, we have to negotiate that going forward. But one thing I never forget is my mission. Like I never forget my point for you street hustlers. Because I always had, like when people say, you know, leadership is different. And I got completely thrown off with Goddess. I didn't know if she was talking about in her house or downtown. Because I don't have people whisper in my ear, brother, I'm glad you here because we need some men lead. I stopped that brother immediately. If you have a problem with women leadership, we probably not going to get along. Because we need everybody. Women have something just as valuable to offer. And this notion that it has to be a man, that's what threw me really off. And when Goddess was talking, but then I assumed she was talking about something else. But that's the goal.
Another area.
Right. Distraction is going to come. That's just the nature of things. But your assessment of the situation should guide what you're trying to do. Because I've had a lot of people have a great idea, and by the time they finish talking, guess what? It wasn't as great as they thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that great as they thought.
Good deal.
You know,
Let's keep this. I'm gonna go to Captain now. Captain, hope we can hear you. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you. We got you. Captain, why are we talking about society, the whole society as a whole? We talk about everybody and asking the question, why are we so divided?
Well, let me say this. I have time. I get on this line. I want you to know, I want to be like Dr. Leonard. That's nothing else in life. I want this man here, a book to say all the right things. Thank you for your words, and we thank for what she said, and I felt it because that's the nature of a real man. That she said, take charge, not try to. When you take charge, you are the same, basically. But the asking your is, why are we so different? Because we have so many people with so many brilliant, and everybody believes their idea is the right one. I like what Rico said, and I like what Curtis said. Right? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm in debates and in conference all day long. And I'm gonna have to be honest. Into a conversation transition from this, and I don't bring topic. Matter of fact, when they get into the topics, y'all have already gave me the answer to other topics. I become Leonard. Believe that or not, Leonard, I become you. So I become Curtis. Yeah, Badger, I even become you. And I go to and I become with my sister. Y'all make me the best at dealing with every day. And we on this show, and we're covering in the most brilliant. I agree, this need to be a show that should be videoed and documented. Say this. We're divided because we have so many people who believe that they know the right is the right way. But until we can put aside religion, with us, politics divide us, and our social race divided. Why are we so divided? Because we cannot come together without bringing these things. Sometimes we have to. Man, when I was at that homegoing, that homegoing was so long with all, and they ain't no longer reverends, they bishops. They done moved from. It was so long, Raheem, that the man died, went to heaven, and he got long that gonna service was. And get the brother in the ground, y'all. Come on, what? So anyway, but in there's so many religious. They talked about what they believed in. But there was more people on this. They didn't have no real cadre of spiritual leaders. They didn't have no Muslim speak. But then you offend the art automatically after somebody turn to your neighbor, say, neighbor, I love you. Man, I don't feel like it. Neighbor say, I love you. Don't put me in that game. I'm Captain Dennis, partner. Go away. And that divides. Until we deal with first, stop trying to make people like yourself.
Wow.
If we do that, brother, we'll try to make people like yourself. Just universality. I talk a little long. Forgive me, brother.
Yeah, you're good to go. You're good to go. Toya with a T. Answer me this question. Why are we as a society as a whole, everybody inclusive, why are we so divided?
I think that's the spirit of man. If we go back to biblical teachings, Cain and Abel. But I think that if we move forward, we're going to take biblical out of it, the spirit of man out of it. I think that sometimes in life, different divisions, different access to different, or the lack of access to different things can destroy certain friendships. and it causes us to be divided. And I look at just simple movies like Black Panther. You know what I mean? The guy cheated, had a whole different kid. Now the kid was angry because he was a king and he could go back, and that caused a certain kind of division between that kid and that whole entire tribe because of the sin. You know, I think there's different things. You know, like with racism, one of the stories that commit to the black-white divide was like, you know, how at one point in time, me and white people, us and white people, everything was even. But as they started to build certain collectives and initiatives and projects, only white people could get it and black people could not. Thus, that started some of the divide of why whites and blacks don't get along, because they purposely made sure that white people got things that black people couldn't. So now that made people feel a kind of way, you know what I'm saying? And here we go. You know, favoritism within families, you know, beating one child, not beating another. You know what I'm saying? That can make people look at different people and feel a kind of way. So when it comes to why we are not divided, again, there's a multitude of different things that go on in life that make us look at other people and say, you know what, that's not right, that's not fair, or whatever, I don't like them, and not want to work with the other party. Whether it's fair or unfair. You know, some people might feel like they're better than, you know, because of some action. You know what I'm saying? And because of their actions, I'm better than you. So therefore, I don't deal with those kind of people because I don't act like that. So we're different. You understand what I'm saying? And we don't know how to work with our differences anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of the times, you have a lot of chiefs in every arena, but no Indians. And now we can't get along because we don't know how to work well with our differences, you know, but there's a multitude of different things that keeps us divided. And I think ultimately it's the mind of the individual. Always thinking somebody is against you, always thinking that you have got to be better than somebody, instead of thinking with a mind that we need to work together. You know what I'm saying? So it's the mind game, the division that's going on today. But it's still as a human being.
Absolutely, absolutely. Badger, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, asking the question, as a society whole, everybody inclusive, why are we so divided?
Man, I'm loving some of the answers. To me, my view is responsibility in our choices. I mean, there's so much that has separated us across the board to the point of, you know, having a conversation in general can sometimes even cause a separation. Lack of being open-minded. In essence, I guess, when everyone, it's not possible that everyone will get along 100%. Yet when a lot of times we can get along, but it's always certain topics where things cause so much emotion that we start reacting and not being responsible for ourselves. And when those reactions the reactions with emotion start getting to a certain degree, it makes us not be able to get along. So for me, it's my perception is it boils down to us as individuals and how open-minded and the choices of what we do in the moments that we're given, if we're going to react or actually have a conversation.
Okay. Let's go to Goddess. Goddess as a whole, dealing with the whole society, everybody included. Why are we so divided?
Ooh, you really want me to touch that one?
Say it again.
I said I don't know if I should really touch that one because I just got through listening to Young Pharaoh and about why we're so divided.
Mm-hmm.
And he broke it down so deep. So there's so many different levels to the division of why we are so divided. And sometimes division is not a bad thing. So we can still be divided and still be united. I don't know if people don't understand it. Understand what I'm saying is we can still be divided, working toward the same goal and be united. Like you might have some people, I'm going to use that as an example. You might have some people over here that are great gardeners, and some people over here that are great, work good with cattle. And put them two together because they're united, they're still working for the greater good of feeding the community or feeding people. So you can put those two together and then you can feed a whole community. Just using that as an example.
Okay.
But then you have an entity, let's say like Bill Gates, who's buying up all the land from even the ranchers to control food.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they're controlling. So so that's when the division is not good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It becomes a demonic reasoning. Young Pharaoh's point of view about certain things is he goes all the way down back to the pineal gland and the spiritual thing. And I was listening to him last night. And our melanin is called neuromelanin. It's neuromelanin or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where our pineal gland and black melanin people have the pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And their pineal gland has not been hardened. And a lot of people don't know that they put fluoride in our water to actually destroy our pineal gland and destroy us.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, you gotta wrap it up, sister. We're over 3 minutes.
Some people are born with a calcified pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
That's why and so it breaks down all the way to our melanin. So our melanin is what is part of the earth. And it's the positive part of the earth. That's what makes us human.
Good deal. Let me keep this thing.
Another thing of people that are
we got 3 minutes, sis. We got to keep it moving.
Please.
Okay, go ahead.
There's another thing that is not human, that is not considered a certain portion of it is part human and part Neanderthal.
Mm-hmm.
So we are divided from God.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Rico, why we as a society, everybody included, why are we so divided?
You know, man, even though we are equal as a human race, each one of us are individuals with a unique conscience, a unique spirit. You know, the eyes that I see this experience through is not in your head. It's not in Badger's head. It's not in Captain D, Leonard's head, Goddard's head. This thing that I see is through my own eyesight, my own experience. This conscience is unique. And each one of us with this unique conscience, we all have something in common as human beings. We have interests, personal interests, individual values, agendas, passions, things that we love and crave and desire. And everybody, the next person might not have that same thing. They might not have that same desire or value that you have for things. You know, you have siblings in the same household. They still have different ice cream flavors that they like. They each have their own favorite fruit. They have their own belief system, that unique conscience, that individual agenda and value system that you have. So you ended up probably in, this is like when you meeting a wife or meeting friends, you meet people that you have those things in common with.
Yeah.
You might have a belief system, a reason why you like chocolate ice cream better, a reason why you don't like bananas, the reason why you don't believe in abortion, and the reason why you do believe in abortion. That unique thing. You see, you know, this is something that I noticed about human behavior, man. Drug addicts really showed me just how weak the human desire is. You could take something such as a small piece of crack and make that person value that more than anything in life. And from that point forward, until he get it out of his system, that is what his interest is. That is his personal interest. That is his passion. He's getting high and getting that feeling again. That's his unique experience. Now, other people might look at him, look at them dope fiends, look at them dope fiends. They're a drug addict, but guess what other people are addicted to? Some people are addicted to money. Some people are addicted to sex. Some people are addicted to porn. They value these things. They value a very open sexual lifestyle. So that's what they promote 24/7. Free sexuality, hypersexuality, guns. I'm Second Amendment. And they cater to those people that believe in the same things. You know what? I believe that white people are superior. You know what? I think that too. You think so? I think so. Come on, let's form a group. And let's divide ourselves from people that think that we are superior and that everybody is equal. It still comes from a unique perspective from your conscience. So that's what keeps everybody divided, because we all have our own personal experiences, personal interests, and our own values that we desire. That's going to always make that natural division, but at the same time, it creates the balance.
Exactly.
For those that have that negative, that takeover spirit to want to control everything. Then you have another side that say, I don't believe that one person is supposed to just run the show like that and control everything. Well, you know what? I don't believe that either. Well, let's come together and form opposition. You got to balance this thing out. So now you have division, but it's division in a good way. Still it's still about the personal interest. And then meeting with other people with like minds that have the same interests or something similar, achieving the same goals and to get the same values that they have in common with each other.
Absolutely. Captain, I see y'all nodding your head in approval. What's on your heart? Can't hear you, Captain. Hit that mute button. Why you get that together? Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
No, just listening. Well, do you have anything particularly you want me to address?
Yeah, it was said that sometimes division can be good, can be a good thing. Is there ever any good thing in division? Because if we are divided, how can we ever come together?
Well, first of all, you know, we love to say we divide. It's become popular to say. Sometimes it's popular to say that just to create division. You know, it's buy-in is important. And once I get everyone on the same page, we can move forward, but you have to be on the same page. This notion about division and what have you, there are protocols you can put in place for division. If Captain Dennis is the captain, then he is the captain. That period. How he leads, if it's successful, the desired outcome will be great. Like, say, for instance, I don't go try to tell Captain Dennis how to run the peacekeeping. But I'll sit there and follow him wherever he goes because he's doing something that's working, that's positive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's that thing that I think frustrates the majority of when you're trying working in organizations and trying to organize people, just people. You have to appeal to a greater good or a greater bad, depends on what team you own.
Mm.
So the notion that there won't be opposition, prepare for it.
Yeah.
Don't assume everybody should be thinking the way, because that's unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
To think that everybody's thinking the way that you think. Everybody has different things that go on in their life. When I'm doing this, I'm doing this. But when I'm not on, I'm not on.
Mm-hmm.
Like say, for instance, shout out to my man. We're gonna do a telethon for him and his organization. My man, Dr. Slaughter, over here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
My organization partners with his organization. So now it's time to raise funds and help him make sure that his work gets done. So that's what we're gonna do for him. Then we have another issue where we're supporting a person who's fighting a case of wrongful imprisonment.
Mm-hmm.
So from our organization has to go do that. And all these different things in different cities that they do. That's different, but we have the same mission and how we approach it. We're going to approach it with kindness and understanding. We're not going to discriminate and all these other types of things. So when people are talking about division, what division?
Mm-hmm.
We got to get beyond these. Oh man, I almost cussed. We have to get behind these small-minded notions of getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of ways to get things done. And just because everybody don't want to do it, don't mean it's a bad idea, but they can go do something else.
Yeah.
And so then we start doing something that helps an entire community, as opposed to just picking and choosing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like a one-trick pony, as they say. What's next? You know, we get lots of cases that come in and things like that of people that wanting help. But guess what? If it does not fit into our criteria, we try to refer that person to someone else. I had one person I was working with an organization. They just called down their cuss. Y'all don't help no white people. Y'all don't. Brother, do you need some help? Then what is you calling me for?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You talking about what we don't do. You don't know what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need some help and you white, we will help you too. But you're going to go through the same criteria and vetting process like everybody else.
Exactly. Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya, what's on your heart, sis?
That last comment, I love you, but you said ain't no division. That's what you said?
Who said it? Leonard? Come on, Leonard?
No, I think sometimes we say there's division when there is no division. You got to find out what it is you're trying to do first. Identify what it is you're trying to do.
So again, so in 2022, we don't have some divisions, right? But I think one division right now is the treatment of, again, we don't go to the divisions in just color in my community. It's the treatment that we receive when it comes to certain things. That's what favoritism makes people divided. You cannot not do one thing. You can't not shoot unarmed people of one color and then not do it with other people. So today in 2022, we have a couple of divisions because of how certain groups of people are being treated.
That's right.
And that's how we have divisions today. And for some, there are divisions. Some people can't get households at certain rates because of a divided sector. They say you don't qualify, so that makes people feel a kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there are a lot of people who are going to feel like there are divisions in this world because of how they're treated, right? And there are those of us that no matter what, I'm going to keep going too. So I feel it. I'm going to keep going. But I do recognize there are divisions. So now I know I got to run fast. I got to work harder because I'm a girl, because God's going to be against me. That's a division that I have to face it as an adult, as a human being. Life ain't easy for me. I had to fight to go to school. I had to fight my own self. That's the division within my own self. But we do still have divisions in 2022. I, as a Black woman, have divisions when it comes to stuff. All Black men don't welcome their arms to me. That's because that's how you feel. You might not feel it's a division, but the reality of the world is that it is for me. And I have to keep going through the challenge, and it is for a lot of people. And we got to stop dismissing what someone else feels. If you're operating an organization, and someone comes to you and say, "Hey, I feel like you're treating these group of people, they can be Black too, better than me because you're social or whatever," that's going to create a division in that person. It might be minuscule to you because it's only one person out of 200, but it's still a division that is real to that person. And we sometimes got to stop doing that. Now, do I think in our community, I'm going to just use me as an example, have I allowed the history of the division of Black people being a Black woman sometimes interfere with what I was doing and say, forget it, I ain't going to do it because they just going to knock me down. I just got to fight harder. I just got to do this. I just got to do that. I probably have. But the fact of the matter is that it is still divisions. Sometimes even with their family members, certain things that I do and I am, they just don't feel like that's my place.
30 seconds for you.
And when people treat people friendly, it's a division. So I think that is very relevant in the world we live in 2022. And there's many different factors and sectors. They're dividing us right now with this whole abortion thing because some people feel like you should, some people feel like you shouldn't. But that means no killing at all. So that means if we're going to not let us make a choice with our body, then you don't need to be shooting nobody unarmed. No killing at all. So, we do have divisions in this day and we got to be mindful.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal. We're about to pull back a couple of layers on this thing, man. And we're gonna go bare knuckles for a while. No cursing, but we're gonna go bare knuckles for a while. Have this conversation. We're gonna have this conversation.
Well, feel free to start with me.
Yeah, I'm coming to you right now, Badger. I got the steering wheel still now. But let me what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Perception. I've been on the Morning Glow for how long now? It's been a minute, right?
Yes.
And I've had a lot of comments thrown at me. And I'm trying to remember how, because me and Leonard was having a conversation yesterday. Because I needed help understanding some things. Now I'm trying to remember how you said it, Leonard. The responsibility for our perceptions and stuff. Of like holding on to certain thoughts, certain teachings and things like that, and allowing it to cast a certain view. Or expectation of how a person's going to behave, react, and things of that nature. Because right now, and it was something that I was sharing, I found it crazy, some of the interactions I've had with people lately, of everything from race to disabilities to political parties, and how much separation it causes based on different people's perceptions of those topics. Me being considered disabled, by the federal government. A lot of people hate me for it. They say I'm too young for it. I'm a hindrance to society. On the flip side, people accept it and understand. So there's a division there. Race is a huge ball of wax. So many different perspectives, so many different views. The history is massive. Emotions are all over the place. But the biggest thing to me is in throughout history, when things are learned or come to the surface, it's either done to gain knowledge or it's done to be put out there to cause separation.
30 seconds, Badger.
As an individual, which one do you choose?
We got Cassandra with us this morning. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about and we go on bare knuckles this morning. We're not cursing, Cassandra. Now you know you might let us one slip out every now and then. We're not cussing, but we're going bare knuckles and asking the question as a society as a whole. Cassandra, from your view, why are we so divided?
I don't know. I think somebody said perception, and I think that's a good word, because the way that we see people or the way that we group people has been a serious issue when it comes to division. All black people lazy, all Mexican people this, all white people that, all gays this. We want to group people and put everybody in that particular category, and you can't do that. I keep telling people, unless you sit down and talk to me, you'll never know. If you're a person of another color, you will never know what it's like to be that other group. But you can, if you sit and talk to me, you can try to figure out or get an idea of who I really am, and not what you pictured, not what your mama said, your grandmama, your great grandmama, but it's about how you see people against how people really are. So I don't know whether that makes sense, but I think that's what it is. People have heard about, like, I have Asian people that I know that they said before they came here, they heard all these horrible things about black people. So what happens when they get here? They have a low opinion of black people. A lot of them, not all, I'm just saying, but it's all about perception. So that's it for me. I think it's how we see each other, how we see people compared to how people really are.
Exactly. Brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
How you doing this morning, DKM Radio panel, listening audience, family? You enjoying the morning glow, DKM Radio?
Yes, sir. And we going bare knuckles this morning. No cursing though, but we're going bare knuckles and asking the question as a whole, as a society. Pete, why are we so divided? Yeah.
Well, I think this society is so divided because we have individuals, different ethnicities, different genders, different spiritual belief systems, and everybody wants to push heavily their own personal agenda, like my dear sister was saying, and without consideration for the rest of the human family that's represented here. If you're speaking about America in particular, America is a salad bowl of everybody represented on earth. It's a unique situation. People come from generally a place, and you denote them from being from that place, that kind, that creed, that tribe, whatever. And it's all here in America. So we don't have a one set foundational culture that everybody can embrace as being truly their own. So we have a competition, an unnecessary competition here, that we are pushing for our individual annexed situations to who we are and where we come from, so to speak, and not understanding that we're here. So if we don't acclimate ourselves to the mission statement and purpose of the present situation too, not just the historical, but present situation of this society, then therein lies a lot of the reasons why we're so divided. We're all here. Most people come here for these freedoms, these liberties. And a lot of us that are from here, because of our experience, we don't always identify that degree of freedom. Just being on the radio, we talked about it yesterday, being on the radio, talking, being disagreeable and having some dissent against the function of this country, right? And your local state politics, the judicial system, the school board, county commission, or whatever, right? And it gets you killed in a whole bunch of countries around the world.
Absolutely.
But yet you can come out here and bomb blast the president, throw the whole, Congress under the bus and run them over, so to speak, with your speech and your words.
30 seconds.
They're not coming to arrest you. So I think that we don't understand really the situation here, and because we're so separate here, that leads us for everybody trying to establish their own, get their own, and not really understanding how to build up the fiber of this society. It's enough here for everybody, and truly embrace one another, embrace our differences, right? Give true respect to one another, but at the same time, strengthen what we have here so that we really can be a beacon of light for the world.
Absolutely. Curtis, talk to me, brother. Why are we so, as a society as a whole, everybody included, why are we so divided, Curtis? Kurt, you there? Okay, Kurt may have stepped away from his phone for a second. Captain, can we hear you? Can we hear you? Captain, you there? Okay, yeah, I see you talking, brother, but we don't have your volume. Your volume's not coming through. Rico, talk to me, brother. Talk to me. What's on your heart?
Man, here lately, we've been hearing this term thrown around called identity politics. And then we hear this other term called special interest. You have special interest groups. So you take two key words from that: identity, your individual interest. We all deal with the fact of having our own identity, who we are, what we want out of life, what we believe in, what makes us comfortable. And in the process of that, you can choose to want to make sure you're recognized and acknowledged or heard, because you want to make sure you benefit from what you believe in, what you desire to have, your values. And I'm gonna give you an example, man. I think I told y'all this one time, man. Some guy I grew up with, man, he was like probably the second set of twins that I actually had constant contact with. These was the first set of twins I ever had constant contact with. We grew up together. And they were identical, but they were different. One was very cool and the other one was all or nothing. You know how I say you treat me good, I treat you better? He was there. I could identify with him. He was paranoid schizophrenic too, though. And I used to see the brothers make them fight each other. Now these were some tough twins. I'm telling you, man. I mean, they could throw down. They were the top of the cream of the crop. But one of them just had a little bit more of a mean streak than the other one. And little by little, I started finding out that he enjoyed being a twin, but he still wanted to be known as Keith. He still wanted to be, let people know that, look, just because we twins don't mean that we do exactly the same thing alike. And so, and they were close. Man, I can remember we got in trouble in school, and this was the craziest thing I saw. When one was getting his licks by the principal, the other one started crying. Then when the other one went in and got his licks by the principal, the one outside started crying. I was like, man, I said, they must be feeling each other pain. That was the oddest thing I ever saw. And so another time they got to fighting. One was fighting one of our other friends, And out of nowhere, the other twin came out of the school building. I don't know how he just felt it. And he came out and started hitting that other dude from behind. The other dude was pretty big, man. I mean, I was like, man, that's weird. They got a connection. But Keith still wanted people to understand that he was different. It was like he wanted to make sure not only was he recognized as Keith, but I'm the better twin. Eventually, he ended up killing that twin.
Wow.
They had a falling out. He killed him while his mom was in the house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he killed him, his oldest brother, and then he shot a guy from the neighborhood that we considered a little brother. He's still alive though. And it was that identity thing. And I can remember one time he was into it with one of our other friends. And so my friend called himself trying to smooth it over. He started catering to his twin brother. He let him drive his vehicles, you know what I'm saying, go pick him up. I mean, he just started sucking up to him. And Keith came up to me and told me, said, man, tell Pooh, just because he hanging with my brother like that don't mean that I'm going to let him off the hook. I ain't Keith. I ain't Kevin.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, he still had it in him to make sure that people understood that he was his own individual. That identity, that he was Keith and not Kevin, even though we're twins. So identity is big in the reason why people are divided, because they want to be recognized as the individual that is going through this experience.
Absolutely. And that's true. That's true. Let me go to Tucson. As a whole, man, everybody inclusive, everybody included in this whole thing. Explain to me, why are we as a society, why are we so divided?
We're in denial. Pete said we are people from all over the place, and we don't get it. We're a bunch of different people trying to make a nation, and we won't accept that. Everybody from every walk of life that has a desire to be equal, and we won't let that happen. That's why.
Wow. Willa, good morning, Willa. How you doing this morning?
I am awesome, Raheem. How are you?
I'm doing well. Willa, and I want this from your perspective. We're asking the question, as a society as a whole, why are we so divided? Why are we so divided? Before you get an answer, let me get a phone number, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Willa, why are we so divided?
Oh, that's because we're living amongst the wheat and the tare. The Bible tells us that we live amongst the wheat and the tare. So by our own human nature, we are divided because God has given us that free will to choose in this life what we want. And just like a lot of the panel said, a lot of people, just like what Rico has said, a lot of people want their own identity. And even when you, just like the twins, they were so together, it reminded me of Cain and Abel. Like they were so together, then in the end, he killed his brother. So we, by our own human nature, we are divided because we have the free will to choose. And a lot of times we don't want nobody to tell us what to do. We don't want even the Almighty to tell us what to do. We want to do what we want to do. We have that freedom instilled in us. It's my life. I can do it the way I want to, and you don't tell me how to live. That's why we don't follow rules. We don't follow laws. We just want to do what we want to do, but we have to, as a society, as a human, be governed under some kind of law, or we'll be just like animals. But we act, that's why a lot of people say we act like animals. So, I mean, if you study your word, you read what you believe in, then you can kind of understand why human life is the way it is. And I do understand why it is the way it is, because we allow ourselves to choose sometimes the wrong things to accept in life. And that's what I believe right here.
Good deal. Paul, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. Just tuned in a little while ago. About why we're so divided. Well, definitely media plays a big role because people tend to stay in a little media bubble and they just hear the same points of view over and over. They tune into, pundits who have or saying things that make them feel good. So, if you're white conservative and you want to hear things that are going to make you feel good, you know where to go. There's certain outlets for that. Or if you want to hear like a more black-centric point of view, you're going to go to black-centric media or whatever, all this stuff. So that's the problem. That's why, we've talked about before. I think it's great. It can be really good if people from different backgrounds speak with each other to get into details and things. So because people throw around like phrases and there's always details underneath. And then some of you guys met my friend Mark, right? He's a conservative Trumper. We disagree on so many fundamental and foundational things. But when we get into the details, then I can get him to admit he's changed. In the past, he would not even admit really that race was an issue, and he's still in denial on stuff, but at least I have a better understanding of how he thinks and how people like him think. So the dialogue is really good, but why are people divided? Media, that's a big one. Media and cultural background, our life experiences, and that's basically it.
Okay, Cassandra.
Yeah. When we meet people, we should be totally open, and listen to what the person has to say. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like, and what does a conversation take from you? And like Paul just said, people's minds, they may not stop being a Democrat or Republican or whatever, gay or whatever it is, but at least you will have a better understanding if you hold a conversation with the person. While I've been on the phone, I went to I was scrolling through one of my pages, right? And I saw this young lady that she's gay, right? And I've heard her story. I know that she was raped by a woman all through her childhood. And that gave her, and for some reason, now you would think that it would make her feel the opposite. I don't want nothing to do with a woman, but that's what she's attracted to. Why? Because her first experiences in a sexual arousal was from a woman. And I mean, she has one of the most beautiful, she is a sweetheart. She works hard with her organization. They do a lot of good in the community, but she strictly deals with women.
Wow.
And she was raped by a woman. Her entire youth was being abused by a woman. So I want to understand where people are. I don't have to agree with their lifestyle. I don't have to do that. But I can listen and be willing to just treat people with respect the same way that I want them to treat me with respect with my crazy self.
Are you crazy, Cassandra?
Yes, I am. Certifiable.
Lord Jesus. Captain, can we hear you? Captain, can we hear you? Might be.
I tell you, man, Captain went from Ohio to Dubai, man. He in an exotic location, man. You see how he travel? He don't play.
Exactly. Hey, look, how you saying? Don't tell him where yet right now. God is, what's on your heart, sis? Goddess, you there? Okay. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody had wonderful things to say. You know, and everybody's opinion. This conversation, this communication right here, this is what makes it better. You know, I like what Cassandra said. Some of us, I think, you know, we put ourselves in God's place and feel like we want to put somebody else down because of the way they live, because they don't live like us. You know what I mean? And again, that creates a division that'll make you probably, again, not associate with a certain group of people because they're gay or because they're drug addicts or because their specific ethnicity. Doesn't necessarily have to be a division because of the party whom you're looking down on. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, if we just kind of let God do his judging.
Come on.
And I feel like this. If you living on this world, he done already judged. If you're still walking around here, he don't need no help me taking you out. So when we make twisted decisions to be wicked and represent the devil to do something, you know what I'm saying, or cause harm to somebody else, we need to charge that individual, not the whole race, not the whole gender. You know what I'm saying? Now all one gay whoop your butt. Oh, now I hate all gay people now because I got beat up by one gay. Like, no, that's not cool. You know, charge the individual for the crime.
Yeah.
And not the whole entire squad for what one person done. And then take a reflection, because a privileged spirit can put itself in predicaments. You know what I mean? And test waters now because you're privileged. And if you think that all black people like that, why don't you take your political line over there, you know what I'm saying, and engage in something to start something. So I think we really just have to take time and look at each individual situation. Let's deal with each other with open mind. I think I've heard people say that today. Let's have communication with an open mind. And regardless of the differences, let's still move forward. Because I guarantee you this. Everybody on this platform, we all got our ways and how we feel about the United States. Trust that, but we're still here.
Yeah.
And we can do all this bricking all we want to. But the moment anybody ever comes over here to infiltrate, what are we all going to do? You understand what I'm saying? We're going to stand up and fight for our country because we are united in one fact that we all live here. This is our home and we cannot let nobody infiltrate it. So these distractions, you know what I'm saying? We're really just burning up energy. And they may be some infiltrators, but still at the end of the day, as humans, we're collectively united on more things than what we acknowledge, even though we need to have conversations about everything else.
Find a way to bridge that gap. Captain Leonard.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I need you to do something for me.
Yes, sir. That's the good bishop. Bishop Gregory Adams.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning, Bishop?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I am blessed, man. Enjoying your conversation. I was really captivated with the story Rico was telling about the twins and the identity of one as opposed to the other. And it's unfortunate one killed the other. But it ain't nothing but a Cain and Abel of today, you know, based on that story. One was envious and jealous of the other to some degree. And so we move forward. What you got?
Asking a question, and we take the glove. We ain't got no gloves on this morning. We bare knuckles. Certainly we're not cursing, but we bare knuckles. And asking the question, why are we as a society as a whole, everybody included, why are we so divided? What do you say to that?
I think Dr. King summed it up best in one of his speeches, the drum major instinct. I must be first. And with that drum major instinct or mindset, this is where the division comes in because, you know, I'm going to outdo you. I'm going to be better than you. I paralleled it to what Rico was saying about the twins. I must be first. And this is why when America was established and they broke away from England, I believe we're back in the 1600s or so, this is why they broke away because they wanted their own independence. And then they didn't want to be governed. And this is where this country is today. It's still with the same mindset. We're destroying one another from the inside out without the ability for us to communicate or try to reason. We just want to build something and try to destroy, but act like, you know, we're together. act like, you know, we will do X, Y, and Z together, but in all actuality, we're divided. I talked to a party that I'm affiliated with, and some of the members of the party began to criticize me, and I'm like, well, how in the world are we destroying ourselves from the inside out? I don't want to be a part of an organization, a group that's steadily killing each other from the inside out. And if you would please, you know, bear with my my ignorance as it relates. I want to pose a question, and if it's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The FDA is trying to regulate menthol, take menthol out of cigarettes. Great. I don't smoke. I don't condone smoking by any means, but I believe in the freedom of the choice. In the legislation, it says we want to stop black and brown from smoking menthol cigarettes. But it ain't just black and brown that smoke menthol cigarettes. It's white and Asians smoke menthol cigarettes as well. In the legislation, it specifically identifies the black and brown community. When it becomes an issue of identity, or demographics of a race, so then it becomes an issue for me. So I spoke out against it. And someone said, well, you're a preacher, what you doing, you know, upholding smoking cigarettes? I'm not upholding smoking cigarettes. I'm opposing them indicating or identifying race, black and brown. So what's going to happen is, if I use you, for example, if Raheem decides to go into a convenience store and the FDA has deregulated smoking menthol cigarettes, and Raheem gets the cigarette and he lights it up outside of a store, and the police drive by, hey man, what are you smoking? I'm smoking a cigarette. What kind? Next thing you know, you got a ticket.
Yeah.
And you get a right. You get a ticket for smoking a menthol cigarette. You ain't going to court for no cigarette ticket. Next thing you know, they got a bench warrant for your arrest. What I fail to say is that the tobacco industry in the state stands to lose $6.6 billion. So how is the state going to recoup their money? By writing tickets and or arresting blacks.
Yeah.
So you talk about a country united. They didn't say white. They didn't say Asians. They said black and brown. If I can, and this goes on with what you're talking about, is there not a division or an established division of race identity in order to be targeted and citations written? And I know Rico can answer this very well, because was it not Eric Gardner choked to death because he was selling a single cigarette? So if your panel can weigh in on that one, because it really does go with what you're talking about, divided.
Okay. Well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stay where we're at right now, and we'll come back to that toward the end part of the broadcast. So everybody stay locked in. We're gonna deal with that at the end, because I want to stay where we are. I don't want to shift everything up like that. Let me go to Leonard. You hadn't said nothing in a minute, brother. What's on your heart?
I mean, it's important to understand where the division is at. You just can't say division just for the sake of using the word. Because there may not be any division there at all. It's not, when people say, well, we all going to come together. No, we're not. We're not. There's just some things we're not going to accomplish together unless people want to do it. The people that coalesce around certain issues are together. They're together. That's their issue. Now, where's the division that you're talking about? Some people think it's division because black people have different opinions. Is that division? Or should people have their own opinions? You got some people that want everybody to do what they want them to do. And to me, that's crazy. I don't want to live like you. I got to be my own person. I can agree with you on lots of things, and we can fight the enemy together. But I don't want you sitting at my table making decisions for me every day. Diversity speaks to the need for division that way. Now, when you're talking about division to destroy a purpose, that's different. That's different. We have the freedom of religion for that very reason. So we can worship how we see fit. Is that wrong? Some people think so. Some people actually think that. And then when you got people in, like, say, for instance, all Black organizations don't have to work for the same thing. You do your part, I'll do my part, and we'll progress together. Just because you can't see where it's a plan, don't mean there isn't a plan. Such as, like I work for organizations and help them with strategic alignment. Because we want to make sure that every part of this organization understands what we're trying to do. And this is how we're going to align ourselves to get that done. We may have one person over here in the entertainment. We may have one person over here in the health and wellness, public engagement, law enforcement. However, that is what's necessary to get the work done. We want to outflank our enemy. So one, the enemy can't consume us the way that they have been. Division is great, but there must be a guiding principle. Don't just say division for division's sake. Your liver don't need to do what your kidney doing, but they need to work together to keep you alive.
It's good.
Most of systems are based off of the human body and how the human body works, and you develop organizations for that purpose. Like I say, for instance, what's the good of having all this other stuff if you ain't got no brain? You know what I'm saying? So I have issues with everybody a lot of times when it comes to certain issues. Sometimes I just listen. Because I don't have to be in the front. I don't have to say nothing. I'm going to go along with what you say. That's why I came here. Because I like what y'all been doing. I just want to know how I can help do it. Like when I met you, I had no intentions on coming to your show.
Yeah.
I was asked by somebody else to fill in for them. And it led to this relationship.
Exactly.
And I'll always ask you, what do you want me to do for you? Because that's all I'm interested in. Is what you want me to do for you and your show. That's always my focus.
Good deal. Good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Navy, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? Navy, you there? Navy, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up. Navy, there she go. There she go. Navy, good morning. How you doing this morning? We can't hear you, sis. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. Yeah, nope. Can't hear you. Might want to go out and come back in. No, can't hear you. Go out and come back in. Okay, go out, shut it down, then come back in. Then that way we should have you. Public. I was gonna say public citizen. Paul, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I guess kind of piggybacking on what Leonard was talking about is that like the division thing. It's sort of it's kind of real and it's kind of an illusion in a sense. But I think that's why we have to, whenever we have a conversation, we can't keep it to like talking points. You have to go deeper and like ask questions. Like Rico, I could tell was unhappy or thought that maybe I was disrespectful or something about the thing with the slave patrol and the police and all that. There's nuance to it. So, you know, my thing is like that talking point I think is divisive, even though it's true in some cases that some police departments, especially in the South, that is the origin. It's overly broad to say that policing in America is rooted in slave patrols. It's not accurate. It's not an accurate reflection of the situation across the nation. So, you know, that's why I think we have to get into the details. Otherwise, we just like we take a position and we're going to defend that position, and that's it. You know, I'm right, you're wrong, and we're both right, we're both wrong. It's a nuance of things. So, in terms of division, I guess I have a question. Kind of I think like there's a perception that whites in America are mostly racist. I mean, certainly, in my opinion, most whites have some level of racial bias, as most people do. But just from my experience, I don't see it. I mean, I don't see that most white people have bad intentions towards non-whites. So I guess it's kind of a question / comment.
Okay, and that would that will go towards the individual that you talk to, because some people would feel totally different. Some people would be middle of the road, and some people would be totally on the opposite side of that. And so it's based on who you deal with and their experiences that they have had with people that don't look like them. And so that again plays into what they're. See, a lot of times people only thing a person can speak about or talk about it is their own experiences. They can't talk. I can't talk for Rico, Leonard, Badger, Paul, you, or anybody else. I can't speak on your experience because it was your experience. You went through that. I can speak very clearly on mine and what my experiences were. And so, I can speak on. Now, do I think all of them are racist and stuff like that? I would never paint with such a wide brush. I would never paint with such a wide brush and go down that alley and say that all of them are. I think that would be very unfair.
Can I say something? Oh.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Toya.
So, some of the people that owned slaves might not have been racist either, because it was just the way of life back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they did things. All of them wasn't brutal. It was some of them that was a little way over the edge, but the fact of the matter is, regardless of if that's the way of life, and the rest of the country might not feel that way about the police, the fact of the matter is that it was Black people's reality. And when you don't stem from that, how can you identify with the Native Americans who got all their people slaughtered in order for them to get here to build this great country? When you're a part of the great country, your entire race is what built that so-called great country for y'all, and that's all y'all know how to live on. So anytime you make a comment to a whole race of people that was, my great-great-grandfather was dragged out the house, forced to be having sex with people, it just feels kind of sounds weird, and I'm just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Badger, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Finally got my thoughts together. So, there's been comments before that I put a thing on Twitch of how within religion, there's always fights and things like that of my God is better than your God, right? Even in any belief, there's always some kind of fighting on which belief is better for some ungodly reason. But when we're talking about the racial stuff, a lot of times I hear what I went through was worse than yours. And I've heard the comment many times of what the Native Americans went through wasn't as bad as what Black people went through. And me and Leonard was talking yesterday about the laws and codes that were made back then that didn't just target Black people, they targeted mulattoes and Indian savages. So they were all grouped up together through all of that stuff, considered the same. Yet what I hear is separation between them. So it always baffled my mind, because it was one thing that I was taught years ago of, you cannot think that your experience is worse than someone else's, and a lot of times that's due to an individual, like trauma. I could get shot in the chest and wake up from it and go, if you get shot in the chest, there ain't no telling how it's going to affect you, right? It could put you in a trauma state. It could make it where if you even see a gun, you drop to your knees crying. So there's different variations depending on your perception and mental experience based on that situation.
30 seconds, man.
So to me, if we can learn that and be open enough to accept that each individual's experience and mental capability is going to also influence how a piece of knowledge or a gunshot or a car crash or whatever is going to affect them. Because experiences affect us differently. Knowledge affects us differently.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico?
Yeah, I can't go too much beyond that. Individual experiences. And when you have individual experiences, a lot of times.
Hold on. We'll come to you.
You might tend to have certain agendas. You know, it's funny, you know, I was thinking about how I got introduced to this show. I got introduced to this show by an infiltrator that had an agenda. She wanted to cause some division. And some people embraced her. And some people believed all the lies that she said to keep us divided from communicating with each other. Am I lying, Toya?
I wish you could hear me in the background. You ain't lying.
But she had an agenda. And it worked. At one point in time, we was black and brown. We was being so considerate. That's in our nature. We've been embracing people and inviting them into our homes, and just, you know, we don't feel right unless somebody else come in, and we so welcoming.
That's right.
But she was an infiltrator. She had an agenda. I think it's happening now. And sometimes people have different reasons for doing that. Like COINTELPRO. They had this thing for making sure they killed the next black messiah. So what they did, they tried to go and put propaganda out against them, like they did Martin Luther King Jr. He was a communist. Philanderer. Infiltrators, you know what I'm saying? Different people came around and tried to sabotage the movement so they could impose their will for whatever reason. You know, people have different reasons for trying to cause division. And then sometimes when they know that there's a link in place to keep that division from happening or for their agenda to occur, then they might target certain people to tarnish their reputation. So they do little subliminal stuff and they troll. But if you pay attention to it and you observe it enough, the truth gonna always stand out and win. But what causes that division is still that you have people with personal agendas, individual ideologies and beliefs and things that they want to accomplish, goals and values, each individual person. And then sometimes these people meet like-minded people once again. And they work in unison. But one thing about it, you know, some people won't allow that to happen. They understand that this division is trying to occur. So like I said earlier, when you spoke about the takeover spirit, sometimes you can still have enough measures in place to counter that agenda once you understand what these people are doing. But at the same time, use them for your best benefit.
Absolutely. Goddess, you said you wanted to say something. Goddess, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
I was listening to a couple of people, but I just want to make sure that we understand that when they were talking about, when he was talking about he doesn't think it was public citizen or whatever. And then also I want to address what Badger said. Badger is not against the Indians and the blacks, because actually most of us that are black are Indians. We just had to, you know, it was a time where they had to make us say that we was black. Okay. So let's just get that straight. And then when it comes to how we were talking about, he doesn't know how the white man has been throughout United and throughout history. all history, and that's why they want to let go of the history. But all the things they've done has been against civilization as a whole throughout the world. That and I can go over half of it: the Trail of Tears, the Japanese entertainment, instrument, the Philippine American War, Jim Crow, genocide of Native Americans, transatlantic slave trade, Middle Passage. The history of white American and racism is so real. Black Code, Slave Patrol, Ku Klux Klan, War on Drugs, Treaty on Guadalupe, Hidalgo, how white racism grew out of slavery and genocide. There's so much. It's so much. The Southern Strategy, the rape of enslaved women, Madison Grant, the Indian Wars, human zoos, how the Jews became white. That was really weird right there. You got your Tulsa riot, Rosewood Massacre, Tuskegee Experiment, lynching, Hollywood stereotypes, Emmett Till, Vincent Chin, the Indian boarding schools and how they did them. I could just go on and on and on. This is the character. This is what the character is. And the fear has always been in Black people ever.
30 seconds, Goddess.
Ever got together and meet up, but that's not part of us because we have a divine spirit and a soul. So we're not going to ever team up and just go out to go harm and kill somebody, even if you enslaved us. That's just not what we're going to do. Because that's not what we're meant to be.
Good deal. Good deal.
We are human. We're part of a divine creator.
Good deal. Cassandra, we'll come to you next. Cassandra, you there? Cassandra, wake up and go to sleep. Willa?
I'm here, right?
Okay, good. I'll come to you after Willa. Willa, you there?
Yes, Raheem, I'm here.
What's on your heart, sis?
I was talking to my nephew about it as he was in the car and we were talking about it. And he was telling me, he said, you know what, Auntie? He said, if someone stopped bleeding, we all bleed the same color. Red. I said, well, most times we do. I don't really know. And he was just saying, he's young. He's only 22. He's 22 years old. And he was just talking about how our culture as a whole, even the young people now that are so divided, why are we being so divided as a young culture when we should be more together because of what we've done, of what your ancestors have fought for, and we died for. A lot of our ancestors have died for the right to vote, the right to go to school, the right to do certain things, and the very things that they fought for are the very things that you're fighting against right now. So I try to tell him, because of the place that I'm in now, I know why things are happening the way it is. It was already prophesied, but this generation being stiff-necked in the way it is right now. So, I'm still on that thing what Toya said yesterday as a solution. That's how things are going to have to work out for us. We're going to have to make the right choices spiritually. We are. Whether we believe, we got to make some kind of spiritual choice because that's the only way we're going to come together as a human race. Because Leonard said it right now, it's not going to happen. Not right now.
Absolutely.
So that's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Good deal. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
There's three reasons why we divided. And the three reasons are real simple. It's power, privilege, and economics. Ain't no money in us as a society being of one sound mind and body. There ain't no money in that. The money that is the money that's being made is being made primarily off of the backs of those who have these ideological differences. And let me check. And until we get past that, we're going to remain divided. You know, it's you know, you take the overseer and put him over the people, give him a little more money, and he'll be an overseer.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell him that you're going to take his ability to put food on the table, he's going to go with what is convenient for him. The whole thing is power, privilege, and economics.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. At the end of the day, the whole thing is power, privilege, and money.
Mm-hmm. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
You know what?
You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Captain, what's on your heart? I said it 2 times. Captain, can you hear me? Can't hear you, sir.
What you say, Rodney?
No. The theme song for the facts of life. I sung it twice. I sung it 2 times.
I heard that.
Yes, sir. Captain, we can't hear you, Captain. Cassandra, are you back with us? Pete, you there? Pete, wake up and go to sleep. We got a little less than we got on 40. We had 46 right now. I want to go back to the topic that Bishop was talking about. Bishop, catch us up to speed to what it was, and we're gonna comment on that. We're gonna have open discussion on that. Bishop, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. I was just presenting something that's being pushed down the pipe through legislation. The FDA is trying to regulate the menthol in cigarettes to reduce cancer in the Black community. And cancer is not only in the Black community, cancer is in every community, but the legislation clearly identified the Black and brown community. Being in law enforcement and being in government, I'm very much aware that if you target a specific group or people, then those individuals will be the ones suffering at the hand of the law or the legislation that's put in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted the opinions of this panel as it relates to what the federal government is trying to do. And like I said, it reminds me of Eric Garner standing out selling a cigarette, and he got choked to death because it's illegal to sell a single cigarette. Well, that's the question. I'm just interested because I've been trying to tell people, and without them understanding it. So well, you sound like you supporting smoking. No, sir. I made it very clear. We don't stand up and speak out about this legislation, which specifies Black and brown. Then the Black and brown are going to become victims of the judicial system. And prisons today are nothing but modern day plantations.
Absolutely.
And the prisons are overpopulated with the Black and brown community, as some would say. I would say Black, but that's just my question.
Okay. Captain, I think we can hear you now, Captain. I heard a little noise coming from your line. Are you there? Captain?
Hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There you go. What do you say? What do you say about that with the cigarette situation?
Well, I can't. So we got to pass the mic on the cigarette.
Okay. Do you want to speak on the last topic that we had before we move on? You want to say something on that? Why are we so divided?
Yeah, I had got off for a minute. I had to go. I mean, I think I like it all narrow living in the society topic when I was sitting backyard.
Hey, Captain, Captain, we having a hard time. You're breaking up real bad, brother. We can hear every other word. It's just me, okay? It's the same with y'all. Can y'all hear everything he's saying? You can't. Okay.
All right.
Hold on, Captain.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but it's breaking up.
Let me move my mic. Try. How is that better?
Yeah, that's a little better. Go ahead. Let me hear it. Go ahead. No. You're all the way out now. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I mean, I guess we're gonna go back to the cigarette thing. You know,
Yes.
I hate to say it, man. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go on and
How
put
about
me in
now?
the corner. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Captain.
You're gonna have to go ahead and put me in the corner, man. But it's almost like a damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Hey.
You know, I sort of think about how they got rid of the flavored vapes because it was targeting the youth and the way they was marketing it. So now you can't buy it because it's unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the blacks, us, melanated people, we have a bad problem with these cigarettes, and the menthol is one of the things that actually influence that addiction a lot more. Now, I hate the fact that they actually legalized this nicotine and the menthol that created this addiction, but now you have addicts.
Mm-hmm.
They don't call them addicts, but they're addicts. And these addicts are going to want these menthol cigarettes because they've been smoking them for 20, 25 years. I used to smoke them. I smoked over 20-something years.
Wow.
And it was hard to quit, man. I'm telling you, it was hard to quit. Even when I wanted to quit, it was hard to quit. You got to have a lot of willpower.
Mm-hmm.
But what it will end up creating is a black market for menthol cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you create that black market for menthol cigarettes, then you're going to have people going to jail for crimes, new crimes, that's going to fill some more pockets and make up for that money for the lack of sale legally.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've created a condition. I say that all the time. Conditions are created.
Yeah.
Now these conditions are created, and somebody's still going to get rich off of it, and somebody's going to lose. And it's 9 times out of 10 going to be that person that bought those same cigarettes legally at one point in time.
Mm-hmm. Sad as it is, that's the truth. Paul, you want to say something, brother? Paul, you there? Okay, we may have lost Paul. Leonard, talk to me.
Oh, you know, I like what Bishop was saying. And anytime there is a law that designates anything about race of people, you're gonna have to pull it back and examine it for its long range effects. And so that's what people don't understand. You know, I hear people even on this show, what's good for this and what's good for that. No, you talk about what's good for you. That's what's good for you. Just because you have a problem with something, don't mean everybody else has a problem with it. There was no reason to designate that law that way and get it done. So why did you do it? Because there's an underlying motive behind doing it that way. To use it for something else. And so when I hear people go, well, black people need to do this and black, no. You're not going to tell me what I need to do because you don't know me. Only thing you know about me is what color I am. You don't know nothing else about me. Even with the menthol situation, people know that the menthols were marketed and it was cool and it was marketed to blacks and things like that. My father used to smoke what? Cools. Cools was the black man's cigarette.
Yeah.
Remember? So let's not forget from where we came so we don't have to go through these exercises like this. We've already, it is amazing at what we have done as a society as it relates to the concept of smoking. And
that goes to Leonard, to the malt liquor. A lot of times malt liquor is the same.
I've heard people on this show actually say something to the effect, and I've heard it other places, as if white folks don't drink malt liquor. What makes y'all think white folks don't drink malt liquor? Because you want to think that. Oh, they don't even sell malt liquor in white neighborhoods. Who told you that? Because there are white people that like malt liquor just like you do. But when you look at the propaganda, and you already looking through the eyes of racial bias, you're going to believe certain things.
Mm-hmm. Let's pull some more people into it. Leonard Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, you there? Pete, are you there? Everybody must have stepped away from. Go ahead, Badger. Ibrahim, coming to you next.
A friend of mine, when I was younger, smoked Newports all the time.
Mm-hmm.
White boy.
Mm-hmm. Newports, yeah.
He ended up getting put in a hospital because of the fiberglass that was in the filters.
Mm-hmm.
I've always, like, to me, if you're going to smoke natural. No reason for menthols or any of those flavors or things like that. If you're going to smoke tobacco, smoke it natural. And the alcohol stuff's true too. There's malt liquor in any store around in every neighborhood. Menthols, every single tobacco store. Smoked by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And science has proven that, like, fiberglass, the additive of giving the menthol flavor causes lung issues more so than most other things when it comes to smoking.
Absolutely.
Yet people are still doing it. People are still drinking and driving.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
So
I'll wrap it up for Badger. You got just a few more minutes. I want to touch some more people.
Go ahead.
Did you finish your thought?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Ibrahim.
Yes, sir.
We talking about the situation with the cigarettes and them targeting the menthol cigarettes and saying they're targeting black and brown people. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like this here. I've heard a few things I've heard said, and it just showed me that we still don't have a grasp on one basic thing. Sometimes what affects one person affects us all. No man is an island, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was addicted to cigarettes for over 40-something years. I think I started when I was about 13, and I recently quit when I was 62 when I was diagnosed with emphysema and acute bronchitis. And I'm still suffering from that. And that might be one of the things that might end my life eventually, because my lungs get worse and worse every year, even though I stopped smoking abruptly when I found out that I was going to die from smoking. I mean, I used to talk all that noise, about this, that, and the other thing. But my addiction affected not only me, people around me when I smoked around people, the smell, the stench, I can smell the stench now. You know what I mean? That tobacco and everything, and it was used as a marketing tool, as to sell. The whole idea about black this, black that, white this, white that. Every community was marketed in different ways. This is how you market things. You sell your product, and that is the basis of that. It had nothing to do with psychological thing or racial in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. But it was racial the way it was marketed to get your income. Now, what affects now why black people need to do this and black people need to do that, white people need to do this, that, and other thing, right? We used to call malt liquor the black crack. You know what I mean? Because you seen and it was advertised that black people drank malt liquor. Mm-hmm. Now, I never seen white people drink malt liquor at the rate that we did at a party. My dad and we own nightclubs in my family, restaurants, right? So I use this as a template to see what happens. Now, what affects everybody? The action of people do when they're addicted, and some of the effects of the addiction. Anger. You get up without a cigarette, or you see people drinking malt liquor in clubs. I've seen people kill each other, drinking malt liquor or liquor and smoking cigarettes, and eating that pork.
Wrap it up for me, Ibrahim.
Pot or something like that. You see people start shooting at each other and acting a fool. And that's the same way you see now. That's part of the process, because that's the lifestyle that we're involved in, and that we've been marketing and advertised, and we accept this and become parts of our culture. The Irish are famous for drinking. Okay,
Ibrahim, we only got a few minutes, brother. We got to keep it moving. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. But we got to keep it moving. Let me go to and I want to throw another thing in there that a lot of times was an issue, and that was the cheap wines. Like Rich's Wild Average Rose and Thunderbird and stuff like that.
Cisco,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, man. It was definitely an issue. Willa.
Hey, Raheem.
What's on your heart, sis?
I was listening to y'all talk about the alcohol and the advertising, the cigarette smoking. My mother used to smoke some Virginia Slim regular, those long cigarettes. And I mean to smoke almost a pack a day almost. But none of us, I have 4 sisters, and none of us smoke because we saw what it was doing to my mama.
Yeah.
Now my daddy, he used to drink. Granddaddy, 100 proof, granddaddy.
Woo.
Out of all my sisters, only maybe one of them drink, but they don't drink the 100 gram granddaddy. They may drink a beer or something. I just said that to say, I was talking about free choices earlier, and I just said that to say that that's why we got the free will to make our choices. Sometimes we mimic what our parents do and what our friends do, but I just thank God that I didn't get caught up in none of that. That's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Toya, what a team. Talk to me, sis.
Hey, listen, that wasn't nothing but the devil, honey. Our possession. Yeah, listen, I just got delivered in November from smoking. I praise the Lord. I don't even have to taste. Smell of it reeks. I've been praying to God to deliver me from that for years, but I remember when I picked it up when I was 19, I picked that up as a way to cope, as a way to deal with things, and then it became a habit. So you can say that some things are marketed towards people, but the devil gonna do whatever he got to do and use whatever he got to use and manipulate whoever he got to manipulate to keep us apart, to keep us in bondage, to keep us, dying. I know white people that do everything black people do, and I know black people that do the same thing that white folks do.
Yeah,
I know both that don't do nothing and some that do something. But the fact of the matter is that are there people out there with agendas that are just for us? Yep. But there's also people out there that got agendas and they don't care who's gonna get it. They just about greed. You know what I'm saying? So I believe anything that's sent to destroy you, when you indulge in it, now that I see, because I'm still working on God to deliver me from a lot more things. Cursing, aggressiveness. I mean, I'm still a daily work. But when I look back at some of the things I did to myself.
Now, Toya, you don't be cursing.
I'm working on it. I cuss like a sailor. I'm working on it. But he's delivering me. You know what I'm saying? And I just have to say that whatever it is a trick of the devil. And you can be deliberate. It can be an agenda. But you don't have to fall into that agenda. It can be hereditary. It can be because you saw it. But you don't have to fall into that, man. You know that it's bad for you. And if you know it's killing you, know that that's a possession of the devil and not of God. And do everything you can to shake it. I'm in agreement and prayer. I love y'all. Thank you, Raheem, for having a platform for us to be able to talk about it. And it is a trick for black folks. But either way it go, we're going to stand up and fight.
Absolutely. Now, Bishop, what do you think the outcome is going to come out of what this whole situation, this whole thing that they're trying to push forward? What do you think the outcome is going to be?
Well, the outcome is going to be a way to imprison the black community. I'm just telling you the God honest truth. Because if the legislation had not targeted the black and brown community, then there wouldn't be an issue with the black and brown community. But because it was specific, this is where I have a problem. You're creating laws or changing legislation to be able to control the black, to put them in prison. And this is why I'm speaking out. I don't condone smoking. I was a smoker many, many years ago. And in fact, being, a lot of things I did, but when I learned better, I did better. But America is supposed to be the land of the free. And we have liberty. And we're supposed to be entitled to do certain things that are classified as legal. So their issue will be with the menthol, with the cigarette companies, R.J. Reynolds and people like that.
Yes.
What happens or what's going to stand to happen, and this is why it's so important to pay attention. is that they're going to lose $6.6 billion.
Mm.
And this is going to be the tobacco industry and the state. So the state is going to have to recoup that money that they intend to lose from the tobacco industry. And how can I recoup that money? Well, if I see a black man smoking a cigarette, I'm driving, I'm in my patrol car. Hey, he's smoking a cigarette. I'm a blue lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, sir. What kind of cigarette is that? It's Marlboro. Oh, they have menthol in it. Here's a citation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't smoke a Marlboro cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to happen.
Yep.
So what we've done, myself and the Coalition of Ministers, just got back from D.C. yesterday, talking to senators and congressmen about this legislation. I'm gonna tell you what they said. They know it's coming down the pipe. They said, well, we hadn't thought much about it.
Mm.
You hadn't thought much about it. We're talking about black elected officials. We're not talking about we went to meet with whites. We went to meet with blacks because the legislation targeted blacks.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't target white. It didn't target Asian. So, you know, it is so true. Our people perish for a lack of knowledge. And then the sad part about some blacks, not all of us, so Leonard's on the front end, Rico is on the front end, because they're trying to bring awareness to a lot of ignorance that's being done or perpetrated upon, you know, us as people. And not just them, you know, I'm sure everybody on this panel has some views and opinions and they speak up and speak out. So I applaud that. But what I'm saying, we as blacks, instead of being proactive, we become reactive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's too late now.
Mm-hmm.
They already pushed the button. The bomb is already in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had went out there and stood and argued and fussed and complained about this before they pushed the button, then we probably would have prevented that bomb from being shot off.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, me being a former elected official, I'm very familiar with how they do legislation and how they'll say one thing, but then it targets something else on the lower end, and then we as people begin to become the victims of something that we could have prevented on the front end of this battle.
Absolutely.
At the same time, I did all the research and, you know, provided to everybody before we went to D.C. Blacks don't outsmoke whites.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at these commercials on television, you see more white people who had their jaws removed, those trachs in their throat. They're the ones who they are showing that get cancer. They're not showing the black. The only black that I saw in the commercial is the lady that has COPD. You know what I'm saying? I got to take care of her.
Yeah.
But she now got this breathing apparatus or this tank that she has to walk around with.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of the people that they show who are dying from cancer on the commercial now, I'm talking about the commercial, are white. Statistically, the American Indians, the Eskimos or the Alaskans have a higher rate of cancer. They don't classify them as the black and brown community.
Mm-hmm.
The Asians, particularly the Asian women, black women.
Wow.
So why did you say the black and brown community? This is my argument.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we have to begin to be prepared for the battle, because I assure you, Pookie, Ray, no, Dr. Phil, a black man who smoked cigarettes, we'll find him getting a citation of going to prison because he was smoking a Marlboro.
Now, Bishop, what can we do in support of you and to do what we need to do to stop this situation?
What we're doing right here, right now, putting this information out to the masses to bring awareness so that we can be in front of it and not behind it.
Okay. Is there a bill number?
You know, I'm on that night. What'd you say?
Is there a bill number? Badger wanted to know, is there a bill number?
I don't. I don't know the bill number. I ain't that something. But there is legislation coming out from the FBI.
Man, say, Lord, I must ain't that something. I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, you said, Lord, I must ain't that something. I'm with you, brother. We'll get it. We'll get it to him. We'll get it to him as soon as tomorrow.
It's a FDA. It's a FDA issue. And they got 2 proposed rules. So it would probably definitely be part. If you go to the Food and Drug Administration's website, Badger, you'll find it there. But they are considering banning those menthol cigarettes for 20. Well, the proposals are now. What you need to do is contract your representatives and let them know that they should oppose that bill.
Good
Thank
deal.
you, man.
Good deal. I'm looking at the clock. It is 10:09. It's time for us to get out of here, man. They say that we've been here almost 3 hours already. So we're going to go ahead on and get on up out of here. Rico, help me out, brother. Tell me what's going on at 3 o'clock today.
Man, if you missed today's show and would like to see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. We covered a lot today. We definitely covered a lot, man. It's a good, productive day. Some good, some bad, some cute, some not so cute. I ain't gonna say ugly, but some of us not so cute. But look at that. I got him that time, y'all. Willa.
Raheem, come on, let's go, Raheem.
Are you ready, Willa?
Raheem.
Yes.
I am so ready. Let's go.
Willa, you know what?
Go,
you know what, Willa? You know what?
Yes.
Let's go.
Look. Let's go, Raheem. Let's go. Father God in heaven, Lord, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up this morning, Lord. Allowing us to get our relationship right with you, oh Lord. Father, we thank you so much for allowing your protection, your guidance, your wisdom, and your understanding to show up in our lives. Thank you, Lord, for what you've done and what you're going to do. Father, thank you for the protection that you bestow on our family. Thank you for allowing the Holy Spirit to dwell in us, lead us, guide us, direct us, and show us your ways. Father, we just thank you so much. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to touch each and every last one that's on this line. Give them a blessing, Lord. And Father, let them know that it's you. Let them know that no man can do what you can do. Father, I believe that it's already done. Thank you so much for Raheem and the Morning Glow family. I thank you, Lord. I honor you, glorify you this morning in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord.
And amen. Amen. Been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:11. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day, and please, please, please be blessed. Talk to you tomorrow. Lord, say the same. Take care of each other. Love ya.